Hello, good evening everybody, welcome along to One Hub Racing here for Season 15's Precision Tier, Round 2 at the Circuit Paul Ricard. I'm your commentator Owen Wyatt, with me is Austin. Sorry we're late.
Yeah, we had some technical difficulties and those are now fixed, so we are here. We are at the French Grand Prix at the Circuit Paul Ricard. A track with a whopping 167 different configurations. We are running the longest one at a mere 5.842 kilometers. It is one of the longest tracks on the calendar. Obviously not the longest, that would be Spa, but it is one of the longest on the calendar. And that's why we're only going to have 27 laps in the 50% race as the drivers get ready.
Yeah, and what 27 laps is going to be looking towards. This is personally one of my favourite tracks to drive on. I know quite a lot of these guys put a lot of practice in as well. It's going to be a very interesting race indeed. Strategy should be pretty simple as long as it stays dry, and we'll find that out in a couple of moments. But
yeah, it's not a guarantee. It's not like Bahrain where 99% of the time it doesn't rain. I've seen plenty of wet races here before.
Yeah, it does rain quite often, especially when I do 5-lappers here, and in other league races too. It always tends to happen at some point, so we'll see today. If it doesn't rain, it should be a relatively simple soft to medium to soft, or in Jano's case, and we'll get onto him in a moment, soft to medium, that's what he says he wants to do. But we'll see what the weather does first before we start speculating about any strategy.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if, it does stay dry. I would be surprised if he's the only one to go soft, medium, because there is quite a big issue with these soft tires. We do have the C2, C3, and C4 compound, which means that between the C3 and the C4, there is a gap, meaning the C4 compound is effectively about twice as quick as it should be compared to the usual gaps, but it also only lasts half as long. So what we have is that the soft tire here is really, really quick, but only for a couple of laps.
Yeah, trying to keep the rears in a good temperature is probably the best thing, because from what I can see and from what I've raced, actually the wear itself isn't a problem. And I think Janel again was telling me this earlier. It's not really the wear, it's more the temperatures they get up so early on in the race. And once they go up, you're not going to get them back down. And that's actually what makes you want to pit. You're not going to be seeing anyone, say, puncturing because they've been on the tyres too long. It's just they get too hot, and that'll make you spin, and it'll make you start to have accidents. And that is why, really, the softs just never seem to last too long around here. But I imagine that might only be a problem at the start of the race compared to the end of it, because obviously lighter fuel would play quite a factor in the overheating, I would imagine.
Yeah, it certainly does. If the car's light, obviously you don't have that much pressure, you don't have that much weight on the tires, and that makes it easier to keep the temperatures under control.
Yeah, so as these guys get out for qualifying, something that we've now been told we've got to keep an eye on is all these unbelievably strict track limits that this track has got. Obviously, I'm not being serious. The game doesn't let you get any penalties for going off the track in most places for some reason, so we've got plenty of different places on the track where you've got to be staying within the lines. And I think you might see it throughout the race, as some people haven't listened. You can go off pretty much anywhere you want. And yeah, we're going to have to be there police today.
Yeah, but it needs to be said that this is the only thing that we are the police for, really, as the drivers. In the first race, they were allowed to do that, but since then, there was a change from the stewards, and they've put out the message that the drivers are not allowed to use our stream footage as some kind of evidence if they have an incident with another car or multiple cars.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. It's something I've seen quite a lot of people do before, but yeah, and they've got to keep their own recordings. It's the best way of telling what's happening and make sure that they actually are listening to the rules. Though saying that, when we're on the subject of incidents, we've been pretty good in our first week of incidents. Precision tier was known as the tier with the most penalties last season, but we were equal lowest this week. Well, only 3 tiers, mind you, but still, it's worth mentioning. Only 4 incidents reported. And yeah, TB and Conzo both were awarded time penalties. So, I mean, it wasn't a bad start for us. Hopefully these guys can keep it nice and clean this week.
Yeah, to go into detail on the penalties, Konzo, who finished 15th last race before penalties, got a 10-second penalty for an incident at the start. 10 seconds and 1 penalty point, and that demoted him down to P16, but, 15, 16, no points either way, and he didn't get the fastest lap either, so not really that consequential other than the 1 penalty point. For TB, however, that situation looks a little different. He finished P5, but if you look at the standings, you see him have only 1 point, and, 15-second penalty for an incident in turn 4, and I think we had that on stream as well, and 1.5 penalty points, and I think the threshold is 8 penalty points. If you get 8 over the whole season, that's you disqualified for the season. So 1.5, that's already hefty, and demoted him from P5 at a good 10 points all the way down to P10 and 1 singular point.
Yep, so that is pretty much everything covered for last week's race, I think, apart from obviously the full standings themselves, which we should probably go into now, probably get into the rest of qualifying. So the winner, who's just gone fastest actually, as it turns out, was Danestar. Now, we sort of expected this one last week, but he does have quite a lot of competition this week as far as I'm aware, or at least from what I've been told and what Janel especially has been saying. He says he's looking for top 3 in qualifying. He thinks he'll get that quite easy, but he's fully expecting to win this thing today. So Danestar might not have won last week, but he's got a bit of competition this time round.
Remember how last time we talked about who the favourites are, who the drivers think the favourites are? Danestar was a name that was mentioned quite often. Cardsbury, as a rookie in One Hub, was mentioned, and Janel was mentioned, but those finished P1, 3, and 4 last race. But the guy who finished in P2, Chris...
Yeah,
he wasn't mentioned at all. He's the dark horse, I feel like. That's quite surprising considering he's a former drivers' champion and a former constructors' champion. So he does have the credentials, he does have the pedigree, but for some reason the drivers didn't think that he was going to be one of the favorites, apparently, or maybe not. Maybe they just overlooked him in this, I would say, very loaded field.
I reckon some of that might well have been because of last season. We saw so much controversy for him, especially in Italy. And so that might have sort of been on people's minds, possibly, when they were talking about him. Although saying that, you're saying he's finished second last week. He should have won last week. I think he knows that himself. But...
Well, funny you say that. I did have a little bit of a talk with him afterwards. Well, he approached me. And he... I'm going to try to find this now, because I don't want to say anything wrong. But yeah, so he told me, and I'm going to read this, I'm going to quote this. The reason I chose not to pit was because doing 10 laps on softs was risking getting a puncture. My wear was about 8 to 9% a lap for my tyres, so if I had done 10 laps, I probably would have got a puncture. Also, Dane still would have got ahead. So, we were speculating last time about whether, why didn't he come into the pits when the VSC was out, and... He would have had to go on to the softs, and he decided that's not worth it, and it's not worth it that early because that was the reason right there. He was fearing a puncture, which, to be fair, with 10 laps left to go and only a VSC, not an actual full safety car, definitely understandable.
Yeah, I can see that point of view, I guess. Maybe he was just trying to be safe with the points. Maybe that could be what helps him out, the consistency this season, rather than being all gun-ho like last season. So, yeah, I guess I can see that from his point of view, why he would have done that.
Yeah, so just to catch up with what we saw last race, what we commented on, or commentated on, didn't really matter. I did not expect him to have that high tyre wear, I gotta say. I thought 10 laps on the soft should be manageable, but... different driving styles, that's something that definitely factors in for a lot of these drivers. If you are really good at preserving your tires and looking after them, you're going to have a great time in the race. And one guy I think we have to talk about, because he did get his first ever Driver of the Day award in One Hub, is Cam, currently sitting in P12.
I mean, you got to be happy for the guy, haven't you? He made it all work for him. He was a pitter under that virtual safety car that we talked about. And yeah, look what it brought him. Went P15 to P5. And yeah, he deserves driver of the day very much. And hopefully he can take that momentum and keep that going throughout the rest of the season. Hasn't probably got a representative lap in yet by the looks of it. But yeah, be interesting to see how he gets on today on the back of that.
Yeah, right now it's not looking too great in qualifying, but this is still early. We still have 9 minutes and 45 seconds left, so there's plenty of time for all the drivers to improve their lap times. The one who already has set a really, really good banker lap, and one that's probably going to keep him inside the top 5 at the very least, is our provisional pole sitter right now, Brettster, who was the pole sitter for the first round, but yeah, it really went downhill from there.
It did, didn't it? He was absolutely on fire, but it all went wrong because he got the strategy wrong. In all fairness, he got the strategy totally wrong. He pitted at the same time as Danestar, came out into tons of traffic, and ended up having some accidents as a result of that. He actually did get some questions asked about that for the pre-race interviews. One person from each tier gets a bit of a grilling from yeah.
I think you meant the press conference. The pre-race interviews is something different.
Yeah. Press conference. Well, same thing. He's been asked questions.
Similar.
He's been annoyed.
Yeah.
And yeah. Well, the question asked. Well, we'll just say this. This is what Brett was asked. He says, "Will your inability to complete a clean overtake, won't it matter, be a consistent feature this season?" And it has to be said he didn't complete it when needed. And he says on a serious note, but he hopes that passing isn't going to be a challenging. Well, he hopes not, because passing will be a challenging aspect. Got there in the end. So he knows it's challenging to get by, and he needs to probably look at his strategy as a result of what happened last week.
It needs to be said that wasn't his full answer, but we cannot quote his full answer for PG reasons. Let's just say that.
Well, it is censored, but we shall not uncensor it for
but,
you. You can imagine, you know.
Yeah.
You can imagine his reaction.
There was at least one F-bomb. Let's just say that.
Yes, so not really going too well for him then last week, but it only weighs up, I guess, because it was a total disaster. And yeah, P1 again at the moment. TB, by the way, has just gone P2. I'm watching Janel as he goes on for his lap. So yeah, plenty still to work on for these guys, but if Brett can stay at the top, then he can maybe get his season back on track.
Yeah, for TB, we mentioned his penalty is 15 seconds earlier. I mean, he came from P11 and finished P5. He had a really good race as well, but, you know, in the end, that penalty demotes him back down to P10, and then it doesn't look so impressive anymore. You know, you qualify P11, you finish P10. I mean, it doesn't look great, but he certainly had race pace, and if he can get a good qualifying together, I reckon TB might be one to watch out for here. And P2 right now, really, really good. Yeah,
he's looking pretty good today, which is good to see, especially like I say after last week. He's had one pull before. I think he got that last season, didn't he? We mentioned it because he started putting a bit of a late charge. Maybe he can keep that up. Janel has just gone P2, and I was watching him on his lap, by the way. He was getting a really good tow from his teammate Crimson, and you'll see now Crimson started up behind. So this is a Toro Rosso strategy. I'm not seeing too many more people doing this, but yeah, Janel just making some room for himself so that Crimson will get the tow just where he did, in that back straight. And yeah, I'm liking this. Toro Rosso actually trying with their strategy in team there, and it's going to help them out quite a lot, I reckon. Well, that is bad track limits, though.
It's bad track limits for sure for Janul. That much we know. But let me find Crimson there. Yeah, he has not invalidated his lap yet. But there we go. And he pulls off. And that is a lot of slipstream right there. And then into the chicane they go. One spot on this track I think we need to talk about. One of the action zones is coming up right here. This right-hander senior, it's called. Turn 10. If you're, you know, not that good at the French language. A full-speed right-hander in qualifying, a full-speed right-hander, mid to late race. Early race, a difficult corner, let's just say that.
Yeah. Sorry, I've lost my train of thought there, by the way. I've done this again. I'm getting too distracted.
Yeah, very difficult corner. Early race, when the car's still heavy, you cannot take it full time. You have to lift. You certainly can't go side by side. It's hard to go side by side mid to late race in that corner or through that corner. But yeah, it's certainly an exciting corner. It's one where you need some stones between your legs. Let's just say that.
So that's what I was trying to remember. I'm trying to think, because I know I had a few races up there where turn 10 was a total nightmare. I don't know if it's going to be a wet or dry race, but certainly if it's wet up there, it's the most difficult place on track. But you can still pass. I mean, even in the dry, it's actually surprisingly okay. If you're mostly alongside for the corner anyway. Maybe if it's a diving lunge, you're going to kill yourself. But, yeah. I think actually it should be pretty okay for these guys if they can get their act together and not start crashing.
Yeah, it is certainly possible to overtake, but again, it's going to be difficult. Unless you're fully alongside, and ideally down the inside. Another thing I think that we do need to mention is that everyone probably knows at this point, but the pit lane entry for this year has changed here at the French Grand Prix. It was after the final corner, after turn 15, and then peeling off to the right side. It was a really, really awkward pit lane entry. Now you're peeling off inside, or outside rather, on the outside of turn 14, so you're completely leaving out the final corner, which does save you quite a bit of time, but still, because the pit lane itself from pit limiter beginning to pit limiter end is quite long, you still lose quite a lot of time from a pit stop.
Yeah, because it is, I think, 37 miles an hour is your speed limit down there, and it makes it the most unbelievably painful. I mean, you think Silverstone's bad when you have to go 37 there as well. It turns what could be a great advantage of that pit lane into an absolute crawl. I hope everyone's aware of that tonight, because that could actually catch people out on the entry as well. But yeah, as you can see, as Konzo goes in there, actually on his screen it's 38 miles an hour. So either way, it's still an absolute crawl.
37, 38 miles an hour for those who are not in the US or the UK. 60 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
Which usually for most tracks it's 80. So it's really it's France, Silverstone, Monaco. They have 60, but there's not that many other tracks who actually regulate it down to 60 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, and I still don't get it. I mean, I don't get it. It's such a simple pit lane.
Not in the beginning. You see how close it is in the beginning? Apart from that, yes, I get it, but it's so narrow when you enter, when you get past where you have to put the pit limiter in. It gets so narrow that it's really hard to navigate. So that's why it's down to 60. Apart from that, yes, it is very easy, and I think they could just probably move that barrier a little, like just move it over to the right side a little bit more, and then it would totally work with 80. But the way it is now, the way it's built, I think 60 is the right call.
Yeah, well, it's certainly something these guys have got to keep an eye on. Maybe could catch one or two of them out today. But we're getting into the last 2 minutes of qualifying now. I think Seppi's going to be the first person to set a lap. Although Patino actually has already started one, so I didn't see him. But he's gone through turn 1 and turn 2. And he is currently down there in P16. 1 second separating the top 17 so far. And 500ths of a second separating the top 4 at the moment. Which is good to see. Nice seeing it very, very close indeed, it has to be said. For all these guys. And especially seeing people out there. I think Sam was saying in his previous interview that he absolutely hates this track. He also incidentally hates the next race as well at China. So I think he'd be happy not to be only 3/10 off as well. But yeah, close. No room for error on this last lap, certainly.
Definitely. It's a trend really that continues on from Bahrain, where we had really, really close battles all the way through qualifying and the race. So yeah, it's really just overall a really competitive tier.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is, like I say, these laps right now, which will help sort of show which are the best under pressure as well, because I couldn't imagine that you're sitting in P, say where Sam or Luke is, and you only lose 1/10, and then the whole field could pass you because you're only 2/10 ahead of him. So you've got to have some balls to get a good lap run here sometimes. And you got to be keeping an eye on that ERS. I'm seeing Patini, look at this. He's going to derate the whole way down this main straight. And that is going to be, he's hemorrhaging time. And look where he's ended up. He wouldn't have had that problem if he didn't derate, you know. And Sippy might well derate as well. And that 1/10 he's made up as Chris leaves the session. He's currently in the pit lane, not good for him now. He's going to derate a little bit as well. And that could lose him the 10th that he just gained. And well, he goes up to P8, but another 10th could have been clear in P7. They've got to be careful out there. Oh, Danestar's backed off. Danestar has backed off. He's invalidated his lap. And so's Brett.
Lap.
So is Brett.
Janul might be looking really, really toasty here. All he needs to find
look at the middle
is...
sector.
Wow. Okay, I was about to say all he needs to find is 0.04 of a second and then a little bit more. Not even half a tenth. And he's found 0.2 in the first 2 sectors. So if he just brings that home across the finish line, then he's got himself pole position here. Crimson, however, is right in front of him, and Crimson is coming across the line. His teammate, and he goes provisional pole. That means Janul needs to find a whole lot of time in the final sector here to actually... I mean, we could see Ivan goes P2. Or even, we still don't know. Is Ivan or even Janul goes P1?
The gaps are much bigger now. You can see that. That's when you hook the lap up so well, and that is played so well. Look, so many are off the track, struggling out here. Harry's, I think, still on the lap, but there's not that many more actually right now. Lukey's been off as well. Not going to over. And where's Harry go? He goes P9.
P9.
A lot of upsets in this session. Here comes Cam. He's going to be last one, I think. Maybe
most likely.
As well.
Now Cloudy has invalidated. Yeah.
Wow.
But Cam at least saves himself from last place, and he is going to start again in P15, just like last week. I mean, it served him well.
It did, didn't it? He had to get a bit lucky, but still. But yeah, I'm very impressed with this. Tor also have shown that potential that they said they had. Jano, he said he wanted that top 3. He's gone and got P1, so all going well for him. Danestar lucky actually there to stay in that top 5, it has to be said. I think he did stay 5th, didn't he? Because, yeah. So that's where he wanted it. Maybe he wasn't planning on pole too much. He said top 5 in the quali and the race. But yeah, he'll not be happy with it, I don't think. Being 5/10 off, yeah, he's where he wants to be, but that far off. But yeah, we'll go through the grid then. So Janel and Crimson, Ator also 1, 2, Ivan 3rd, Brett 4th, Danestar 5th, Scorpion 6th, TB 7th, Konzo 8th, Harry 9th, and Sippy 10th, of course, all on the soft. So I'll start on them. Outside, we've got Sam, Lukey, Chris, Cam, Jorit, well, King J, but we know him as Jorit. Carlsbury, not a good day for him. He's on the mediums, maybe misinterpreting the 2-stop. Vitinho and then Cloudy. Did Carlsbury realise that it was a 2-stop, I wonder? That seems weird. Or did he just get his lap wrong maybe at the end? But on mediums?
That could very well be the case, that he just didn't get his final lap in. He was one of the first ones in qualifying to retire early. So would assume that was just not him not getting his lap right, or maybe even crashing out. We didn't see it.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we can't catch everything.
Yeah. So then, we're getting ready for the... Oh, sorry, you go ahead.
Yeah, no, one thing I just noticed is that we are missing one driver, and that one driver is none other than Nexus Iceman, who did not make it here tonight. So we are 19 drivers, and he is the one that is missing. So one of the favorites, the only defending champion in the Precision tier.
Yeah, so that is a big loss for him actually there, because again, days like this he could really have done with, because it feels like that was a bit mixed up at the end with so many cars in trouble actually, so many messing their laps up, but well, his loss I guess. Maybe he'll be in the background having a lovely time watching us. And yeah, speaking of reigning champions, we do have a sponsor as per usual. We've got Next Level Racing sponsoring us again for the season and providing rigs for our champions, which is lovely to see. Love seeing them on board still, and yeah, gives these guys all the motivation they need if, you know, paying into us wasn't enough. They also get paid back if they win, so it's worth the investment. And yeah, be looking forward to seeing how these guys get on today. But yeah, Next Level Racing, check them out, they're very good.
Indeed. I'm just completing my little spreadsheet here so that I know who started where. There we go. got that done. I'm sorry. But yeah, it is a Toro Rosso 1-2, and if we look at the Constructors' Championship right now, I mean, it's only one race, but, you know, it is one race. We don't have. Did I accidentally close? I did accidentally close it. I am a smart man. Obviously, that's irony.
Yeah.
But there we go. Okay, so Toro Rosso. I mean, looking okay. I mean, nothing's decided really. We actually had 9 teams scoring points, which tells you a lot. 8 teams in the top 10, so only 2 teams having both their drivers finishing inside the top 10. Toro Rosso is sitting at 12 points, all coming from Jano, who finished P4. So not much is lost really. The only 2 teams, by the way, who did get both drivers inside the top 10 were Renault with Carlsberg P3 and Vitinho P9, and Mercedes with Ivan P6 and TB P10. So not that great positions either. But yeah, everything's open, and if Toro Rosso can get this at 1-2, they're definitely going to take the lead in the Constructors, and they're looking really, really good to actually take the Constructors' Championship.
I've got to point out that we are now down to 18 cars. You may have noticed that Chris is no longer with us, so he didn't get in. He left at the end of qualifying. That means your car doesn't get loaded in, so he's noticed that. Yeah. So we're going to be on to 18 cars on this grid. And yeah, already a bit of tension because Cam and Lukey seem to have a wee incident. I don't think Cam was too happy, and you will exceed it. It was a part of the grid a bit earlier. So it's going to be an 18 car grid then for this race here at Paul Ricard. Remember, 2 stop. We've got only 1, I believe, on the hards, interesting enough. We said we may not get them used, but here we are. Jury's going to use them. Interesting to see how that one might pay out or might not pay out as Cloudy parks up on the grid, the last man to do so, as we get ready to start this race. One of the longer runs.
Can I just ask you very quickly, is Chris's spot empty for you as well?
He's not here, he's gone. As the firelights go on, we'll talk about it in a second. As we are away in Paul Ricard, which is a good start by the looks of it for Jana, but like I said, a long run down. Slipstream and second phases could be important, but it is still Toro Rosso 1-2. Here comes Brett on the outside. Difficult to get right here by making contact, but they seem to be doing it quite well there. As we, touch wood, we've all had a massive accident in the back, and we've got 6 or 7
and
cars
Vitinho's
involved.
out.
Yeah, that's
Vitinho's
lovely.
out.
I think we've got 4 or 5, and they're still hitting each other as the safety car comes out as well.
Yeah.
That's going to cause problems as well. I don't think there were many actually at the back there didn't get involved. I think that was Konzo and Scorpion colliding at turn 1. That's what caused all that. And did Jory get out of that without damage? Because he's on some of those hard compound tires. He actually did get out of that okay. Just that wild card out there. So he survived all that. Carlsberg made a great start. He must have avoided all that as well. Up there into P11. But yeah, Brett got himself to P3. Good start from him. And then the 2 Toro Rossos staying in the lead.
Yeah, and the question now becomes, what are the soft runners going to do? With the safety car this early, and the softs being that notorious for temperature, why not go in? The mediums can do enough laps to get on two sets of mediums to the end of the race. You do 2 13-lap stints. They definitely have that in them. So the question is, does anyone in the top 9 come into the pits and go onto the mediums at the end of lap 1 to then go 2 stints on the mediums, 13 laps each? Yes, Jano comes in.
We've got
and
every
Chris
single
double
one.
stack.
Everyone. Oh,
Wow.
TB abandons that there. He was all over it, but he's abandoned it. He decided not to. Jory gets a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits. He's actually also pitted on those hards, getting those out of the way, I guess. Only 2 people seem to be staying out. Interestingly, Sam stays out on his mediums, as does Crosby on his mediums. I guess that makes more sense for those guys. You could argue to be staying out. And, yeah. You know, there was actually a question asked as well for these guys about how switched on they are during these safety cars and virtual safety cars. Sam says he tends to be quite switched on. It's all about others judging theirs, but most of them seem to be judging this one as a time to change. And Konzo has been held longer than pretty much everyone else. I know Crimson will inevitably have lost a lot of places, but Konzo especially, he's still in the box. He's been there for ages, it feels like, and he might well get jumped by Cam as well. And, yeah. Interesting, that. To see, I guess the double stack had to work for some of them and didn't work for others, but Janel, I guess, is the biggest winner out of that, just because his teammates had it his own way now.
Yeah, fair enough. But Crimson's still in a really good position if we just exclude the top 3 who haven't pitted yet, and therefore still have 2 stops left to make in this race. Crimson's net P5, which would still be a fantastic result for Toro Rosso. Janel for the win and Crimson P5. I'm pretty sure they would be happy.
Yeah, I reckon they'll be pretty happy with that, but we'll see. Still in lap 2, I guess. We'll see if Crimson can show that pace he had in qualifying and get himself back up there. But yeah, that helps Dane start out, and Sippy as well. Where did Sippy start? He felt like he's made up a lot as well. He's been up 3 places from his P10, and then he'll get another 3 when the free ahead pits, so he's had a fantastic start, it has to be said. And it has to be said as well, that worked out unbelievably well for Jory. Think about it, he started on those hards, maybe a little bit risky, but it's come from the back nearly. He's made up 4 places already, I believe, and he's already got 1 pit stop out of the way. That's worked out really quite well for him.
Indeed.
Oh, TV's pitted now. That's a weird one. He thought about it on the last lap, but didn't do it.
He wanted to avoid the double stack, and, well, I think he chose an even worse option there.
Yeah.
But going into the pits even later, and maybe he forgot about the 60 kilometers an hour here in the pit lane, because that will put him right towards the end.
On. Look at this. We've got Cloudy back in the pits. Now, this is something we didn't even consider, by the way. What if we just get their 2 stuff out of the way now? They're surely not doing that. There must be another reason for this. They're hards. They're not hards. No, he's put his mediums back on. The game looked like they were hards, but no, he's put mediums back on. Right, they won't go to the end. So he's making set and stop, just maybe just doesn't want to run the softs. That could just be it. But
yeah, I think so. He was way down the order anyway. He started on the mediums, and I think he just wanted to get the softs out of the way. And so now he's going to be on a 3-stop ultimately, but he will have caught up to the rest of the field by the end of this lap, most likely. And therefore he will effectively be on the same strategy as everyone else.
Yeah.
Meaning 1 more pit stop onto the mediums and to the end. So this is effectively, for most drivers, become a one... It hasn't for everyone, because some drivers have started on the mediums and gone on to another set of mediums. Cam, both Cams, in fact, both the Haas drivers, are medium to medium. And then we have obviously Sam and Carlsberry, who haven't changed at all from their starting mediums. So, very interesting what the Haas drivers are going to do. I'm wondering, are they going to go into the hards for the final stint?
Yeah, that does put them in a rather difficult position, doesn't it? Because, as safety cars going in, by the way, because, yeah, it's sort of a lose-lose if we... I think they're maybe hoping for another safety car, if I'm honest. I feel that would be lose-lose if they don't get one.
Yeah, with 17 drivers still in the race, a safety car certainly is a possibility. But let's look at Sam leading the way to the final 2 corners.
So just remember, the top 2 haven't pitted yet. They're still going to make 2 stops. Sam, who says he's quite alert on these safety cars, but he's going to have to prove it now. He's going to have to try and get a restart right, and he's going to have to hope his strategy is the right one to be on. It doesn't feel like it at the moment, but we'll see. As he gets out of the final corner, he's waiting quite a while, and Crosby's got a good start. He's all over the back. He's going to go on the outside in towards turn 1. A difficult move to make. I imagine he might well back out of this one if he's got any sense, and he does. He's going to go for the cutback potentially instead. Look at that. He's worked that really quite well, and he's now on the exit of turn 2, side by side of Sam. And in towards turn 3, look at the squeeze he puts on him. Look out for Janel as well. If these guys go side by side for too long, as they stay side by side all the way through the first sector, there's going to be a bit of contact, the inevitable slide. Janel has to go off the track to avoid, and they're still side by side. There goes Brett. Brett on the inside, he's up to P2. Carlsby into the lead. Sam's been absolutely bullied out of the way, but surely Brett's not going to get by Carlsby to get himself into the lead. He's got a fantastic toe. So's Janel, so's Sam, so's everyone really. It's a great run for most of them, as Brettster on the outside now. He looks for the lead. Right on the outside he goes. The overtaking line is the outside, and he's taking it. But surely Carlsby on the exit is going to get a run now. These guys have not stopped the whole lap. There goes Jan up the P3, and that's a 5-way scrap as well, as they weave up the hill. Carlsby leading from Brett, and then Janel side by side behind Danestar and Sam, who's lost 4 positions on that restart. Wow, look at this, we're still going for it. Bretster's on the inside, he's back up, and he's ahead again, but now Carlsby with the exit's going to get the run too. And I think just hold it back for a minute, guys. It's lap 4, not lap 27.
Yeah, really early battling here. Everyone wants to get ahead. Absolutely fantastic stuff to watch, but I think they have calmed down just a little bit here. At least the top 4 have, and we do have some gaps between them. So, I think we're both going to have to take a breather after that one.
There goes Sippy on the inside. There's contact with Sam, who's, had a pretty much about as bad a lap as you can imagine. And it's about to be a second bad lap by looks. So here comes Sippy. He's going to go late on the inside. He's going to shove off. Well, that was a bit dodgy. That was a bit dodgy, that one.
That was never on, that move. He was way too late on the brakes, and I reckon this might be something the stewards may have a look at. However, he didn't gain an advantage, really. In fact, he lost the position out to Ivan. And so the stewards are probably not going to take any action because Sam didn't lose too much time from it. Sippy, if anything, lost the position.
Oh, look at that.
Make it 2.
Oh, he's going to spin, is he? Oh, he just about says it, but doesn't get the move done. And that's what I'm saying, the outside line's the better run because you'll generally wash wide at that chicane anyway, so you want to be on the outside. But look at this, we've got Ivan on the inside of Sam. It's going to be 2 cars and 2 laps into scene, or are they going to hit? They can't see each other, can they? Or is it lagging about? I can't really tell too much, but they're side by side anyway. And they're going to do loads of switching back as Sam loses the position, surely. He's not going to have the run on the exit, and Ivan is up ahead. Yes, we're going to keep saying his name wrong. Sorry. We're trying here.
Yeah, but I gotta say, this is why I love turn 11. There was almost a double
Janel
cutback.
side by side, sorry to interrupt there. Janel side by side with Brett there. They were touching into that last corner, and that top 5 is still absolutely glued together, it has to be said.
Yeah, Carlsberry has a little bit of a gap there to the guys behind, but that's about 4/10 now down to 3.5. Make it 3, and it's coming down more and more as Brett is trying to put him under pressure.
Penalties already being given out. You've got to be careful, Crimson, and the rest of them, for that matter. Sippy had another go on Sam there, around the outside into turn 1. Didn't quite work out, but he's really holding everything up right now, Sam. He's just not got the pace at the moment.
Ooh, I'm on board with Brett, said he just had a massive slide through turn 6. Didn't hurt him too much, apparently, because he's got the slipstream on Cosberry around the outside, which is where you want to be. You mentioned it. Washed wide, they touch, and Carlsberry holds it. But there goes Janel into P2 as well, so that's 2 positions lost for Carlsberry for trying to fight this more than he could.
Well, look at this, he's got to run up towards Singh now, and they're both got to run on Brett. This isn't over just yet. I think Carlsberry, it'd be silly to go for that there. But Janel now at the P2, he's liking that very much. He's not going to be all over the back of Brettster. And yeah, that's a perfect example, as we say, of being on the inside into that chicane, not being the best line at all.
Yeah, and again, turn 11, I think there was an opportunity for Carlsberry, but Janel closed that very quickly. A lot of these corners are just flowing long corners, and it allows you to just take many different lines, and that is what we see right here.
Cam going there right round the outside of Sam. Very nice driving there as Sam falls outside off the top 10 now. It is just going from bad to worse right now. He is going to be absolutely livid, I would imagine, under that helmet.
Yeah, I would assume at this point, seeing how he dropped positions over and over and over again. I mean, he qualified P11 and he's in P11 right now, but with how close the whole field is, he's got to have some kind of technical issue. I don't know, maybe the wrong setup loaded for him or something like that, because I don't understand this. He should have the pace to at least somehow hold himself inside the top 10.
Here comes Janel. Sorry to interrupt, but look at the run Janel's now got on the inside. He's going to try this one inside. Like I say, a bad line. He decides to back out of it. Maybe going to try for the exit instead up towards Singh corner. Oh, big slide on the curb, but keeps it going. and still has a good run for good measure as well. And this actually might well let him save the ARS, because Bretster wasn't very good in the exit either. And so Jono, yeah, he's getting that ARS nicely up. Still not as high as Bretster's in all fairness, but still, he's getting it up. And still looking on the inside, actually. He's just trying to show himself.
Brett ran a little bit wide there on the exit of turn 11. And that allowed Janel to at least have a little look up the inside. But you may have heard me clenching a little bit doing the overtake attempt by Janel into turn 8 into the chicane. Yeah.
Dainstar down the inside. Contact there with Carlsberg, and they're dragging along the side of each other on the exit. Look at the wheel binding. They can't stop touching each other, and they're going pretty much equal speeds down that straight. They've hit 3 or 4 times. Dainstar looking for the room. He's trying to force his way past, and he's going to get his wish, because there's no way Carlsberg will hold it on the outside unless he gets a nice run. We'll wait and see. Down towards turn 3. Well, we see how hard Dainstar's going to attack. Surely he'll defend even harder, and indeed he does. He's up to P3. Yellow flag.
We have a yellow flag
Clyde,
in sector 1
in his racing point, and he's down to the last place now. But here comes Janel again. It is time for yet another overtaking opportunity, and you can see there Brett going instantly defensive, and he's weaving across the track. Now you can't do that too much. You've got to be careful. He knows he's going to lose the lead, though. He just hasn't got the speed. Janel has got past, and he's back into the lead of this race once again as Bretster touches him, and again. No damage, but he's going to be careful there. He doesn't actually do anything to hurt himself or Janel in this race. It's a long way to go still, but Janel back up into the lead, and now Dainstar looking on the back of Brett, but turning that ARS down as Brett has a big slide, saves it quite well on the exit of the scene. Must have touched the curve a bit too much, and yeah, Janel back in the lead of the race.
Yeah, you can see for some of these drivers how much they're pushing, that they get the car sideways every now and again. It's just fantastic stuff to watch, and I don't think Janel is going to drive away with this just now. I think Brett and Dane and Cosbury and Crimson as well, they all have a word with him, or they all want to have a word with him over the final 19 laps of this race.
Well, it must be said, Janel is pulling away quite a bit now. I noticed earlier on Brett actually looked a bit stronger in the last sector, but it feels that he maybe lost that advantage a little bit when he got overtaken as Dainstar as a side in the exit, loses a bit of time but won't lose any positions. But yeah, from what I saw earlier, anyway, Brett's just seemed a bit better in that last sector, so we'll see if that can give him any advantage at a later point in the race. But he's still in DRS, still got a chance of getting by Janel on this time round. He's got plenty of ERS as well. That might well be why he dropped back a little bit, just to save it.
Yep.
And, well, now on the DRS again. He's not putting it up, so he might just save his blushes for a while.
Yeah, I think that is a really, really smart call. You get the slipstream anyway.
Oh, he's hit him again!
Yeah, if you do that too often, you're going to damage your front wing, and that's going to be effectively your fight for the win over. But yeah, Brett, I think what he's trying to do is make Janel use all of his ERS, all of it. And then, late in the race, when Janel's battery is depleted, then we're going to see a fight, and then we're going to see Brett just flying around the track.
Yeah, well, they've got to be careful when they all time this type of thing, because you've still got the whole top 5 within DRS of each other. Crimson a bit detached off that, but he's still just about there. And, well, he's actually used quite a lot of his ERS. Crimson maybe just not quite got the pace at the moment. You can see how much he's pushing out of the final corner, but just doesn't seem to have the genuine pace as Brett gets a lot closer on that main straight, and then, as a result, can just turn that ERS right down. And Janel, well, he's got about half as much, and he's got a very bad run through turn 1 as well. Brett had to back off a little bit there to not go straight past, or straight into him, more like, down towards turn 3. And, yeah, full tank now of ERS for him to use whenever he pleases. He might well wait until his pit lap maybe and launch then, but there's Janel having a slide. He's feeling the pressure, Austin.
He really is, yeah, and here around France, around Paul Ricard, it's very, very hard to lose a guy who's behind you. You see those trains just forming. We have a train in the top 5. We have another, I mean, maybe a little bit of a train, P6 and 7. Another train, 8, 9, 10. Another train, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's so close from beginning to end, with Cloudy being the only one who falls off a little bit after his spin earlier. But you can't get rid of the guy behind. It's impossible.
Fight for P11. They're side by side through Sane Corner. That is risky stuff because they were touching and binding the whole way through there. Sam, a bit more solid than P11. He hasn't fallen completely down since then. Although saying that, he is in the head of quite a large growing train, but that's still. He's at least staying in P11 at the moment. But yeah, he just doesn't seem to have the pace at the moment. He did say, in fairness earlier, he hates the track. So that will be his excuse. He'll say this after the race. He'll say, told you I don't like this place.
Yeah, I mean, that's the post-race interview for Sam writes itself at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, meanwhile we have Harry and Lukey going at it into turn 1. Harry takes the position.
Ooh,
but I don't think that's
now.
over yet. That's no, he doesn't. Look at this. Lukey doesn't try. No ERS deployment there. He just wants to show himself a little bit, make Harry a little bit nervous, but wait for the DRS zone.
Yeah, we're back up at the leaders. Brett, is he fancying a move yet? You can see Janel's on 5 ERS there. He's really having to push right now. And so really all going to plan at the moment for Brett. He's not passing, but he doesn't want to. If he wanted to, he'd be passed by now, I reckon.
I think
well, this could be it, actually. A big slide from Janel. Surely.
No.
Nice.
No.
Well, he is staying
You
there.
just need... Yeah, but you just need to look at Brett's ERS deployment. If he wanted this position,
he's down
he
the
could
inside.
easily... Wow.
Oh, he's cut the corner!
Whoa!
Oh! Big save that was. That, I swear, I thought that was going to be a big accident there. I mean, he missed him by nothing.
That was too close for comfort right there.
Yeah.
My God. But yeah, I was about to say, if Brett wanted that position, he could just check it up to overtake to mode 4 on the ERS. And he just keeps it in 2 and 3 the whole time on the straights. Now we're back to 2. If he feels like he's a little bit too far behind, he goes up to 3. But he likes the situation right now. Sam into the pits for his first pit stop. He is one of only 2 drivers who didn't go in, the other being Carsberry, who's in P4. But yeah, just Brett doesn't want this position right now, and I don't blame him. There's still plenty of racing left to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So interesting there to see Sam when he's put his going to mediums. Will that be a sign of what Carlsby does as well? Because I would have thought if you're going to start on these mediums, the idea might well be go soft at the end. Because you can take less life out of him at the end of the race, but I guess Sam isn't following that script. Then again, he isn't really following any scripts at the moment. It's all gone wrong for him today so far, but that could be a sign of what Carsberry does.
Possibly, but I think Carsberry might actually go medium soft, because if you want to go for 2 soft stints late in the race, you want your medium stint to be as long as possible, and Sam did not extend his medium stint all too long. That was 11 laps. 3 of them behind the safety car, so really 9.5 laps. So yeah, it was really a long medium stint for him, and that's why he's chosen to do another.
Saying that, Carsberry has got his pit light on. He's going to stay a little bit longer, but yeah, that could be what helps him out in this race today, because he's going to have to really rely on himself. Because the 2 ahead, most likely going to pit for mediums. In fact, they pretty much have to. But Carsberry 2 runs on the softs. Surely that's all that's going to keep him in play, because he will fall behind. He's going to have to claw his way through the field. I'm trying to remember a race I commentated on quite a while ago, mind you. But what's happened was the guy at the very back of the train, say like at 12th place, I think it was, he went onto new sauce at the end. He, I think, got to P4 in the end of it. So that's basically what he's planning on doing. He knows he'll be behind, but he'll have to be ahead by the end of it all, because he'll be on much better tyres.
It needs to be said that the difference in time per lap between the softs and the mediums when they're both fresh is 1.3 seconds.
Yeah.
This isn't just a couple tenths here and there like we had in Bahrain. No, 1.3 seconds a lap. And obviously this goes down very quickly as the soft tires wear out. But in the beginning, he's going to be flying, and he might actually be looking at the fastest lap as well. That's 1 point, don't forget that. It's 1 point inside and 1 point outside the top 10, so you have double the chance of getting it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think that's what he might be looking at, and it's going to be 2 stints of the softs, but he's going to have to extend his stint even longer now. This is lap 13. I think he's going to have to go lap 15, possibly.
The train has now become a 7-car train. Ivan and Sippy have joined the party. Where it's just made this more fun when it all absolutely explodes.
Yeah, I gotta say, great catching up from the two, Ivan and Sippy. Did not expect
look, goes
them
Janel! He's locked up massively there in turn 1. He can't hold on to the lead when he's been off the track. You can't do that. He's got to let him through. He's made the mistake there, and look how he's defending as well. I'm sure Brett's going to have something to say about that.
Yeah, that is going to be a steward's inquiry right there. Janel, I mean, that very questionable to say the least. But obviously, the ultimate decision will be up to the stewards. But, you know, I personal opinion, I think he would have to give that position back.
Crosby really went for that there in Danestar, so he's still got plenty of pace on those tyres. So yeah, I reckon you're right. He will go at least another lap or two. He seems to definitely have the pace for it. Although saying that, I was about to say before Jana went off, maybe the better reason why these guys are all caught up, because the top two, they are, it's no secret, they are pacing themselves right now. They're not flying for a good reason.
Yep.
So that could also be it.
Remember, these medium tires usually last between 13 and 15 laps. So 15 for Cosberg is really stretching it, which is why the medium soft strategy is a really tricky one. But he's going to have to do it. The lucky thing is that they did have the safety car running earlier on. So those 3 laps were effectively 1 to 1.5 lap.
Wow.
So they saved about 2 laps. Yeah, everyone's just posting a fastest lap there.
It's raining. It's raining. I didn't think that was going to happen.
Oh my god, it is.
That's going to make this possibly even worse for Carlsberg unless he's looked at the weather forecast and saw, okay, it's going to rain for a bit, then go dry. Why would he have not stopped by now then? And why would Sam not have went on to soft? It's like this has caught everyone off by surprise, especially us anyway. Or it could be that it'll just stay its way and it won't need wets, but you can see they're already sliding about. I was going to say before that rain started, we didn't even notice that Ivan got past Crimson.
Yeah, he did. He overtook him into this chicane right here. I didn't notice it, but, you know, we were talking about other things. Oh my god, Ivan just almost puts it into the wall there.
They need a safety car right now. These guys, especially Carlsberg, he needs a safety car to save his strategy. Did Crimson get damaged? Oh DRS. My goodness! Carlsberg, big save. It's raining too heavily now. DRS is disabled. Yep. Who's going to get back to the pits? This is going to be a very interesting lead fight. This could be side by side into the pit lane. So let's just see how this all pans out. There goes Brett on the inside! Virtual safety car. Was he ahead before it came out? I think he was. Oh
yeah,
my
we'll
goodness.
see. If he gives the position back, he wasn't, but I think he was. He's not giving the position back. And everyone went into the pits now, and I think the virtual safety guy is the right call here. With oh my god, Janel!
Saves it. Lukey's got a drive-through penalty. Brett's in the pits. Will anyone speed? It's difficult to get this thing slowed down.
How can you speed under virtual safety car in these conditions on dry tires? How is that possible?
Well, you're not going to be able to brake, are you, into that pits, are you? Lukey's got a penalty.
Another one.
We're back to green flag racing again. Not that we're doing much green flag anything, because every single driver is into the pits, apart from poor Sam. His day just gets worse. Look at this. Oh my god. He's got no front wing. That's why he's going so slowly. Oh dear. Anyway, Brett's come back out in the lead. He probably can't believe his luck. Janel, could this be a full wet scenario then? Could this be why Carlsberg didn't pit? Are we going to go to full wets before this is over? Because I can't see any justifiable reason, if he knew this rain was coming, for why he didn't pit when everyone else did. He's got one more to make. Could he be going for wets when it goes presumably to wets? Because if this is how it quickly became enter, not even a lap and it was ready for enters. Could we be wet soon? As Sam retires, he's crashed into the pit wall, I think. Or maybe he's just retired a second he's hit the pit.
No, he's retired in the pits. He's just retired in the pits.
Well, thank goodness for that. But yeah, this isn't inter. Well, it is inter, sorry, right now. But will it be wet soon? That's the question we've got to ask right now. And will Janel be looking revenge? Because he was slightly shoved out of the way, wasn't he? I'm sure Brett would argue, well, he shouldn't have been in the lead anyway because of what happened at turn 1 a couple of laps ago. But look at this rain, it's torrential. It's torrential rain right now.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. We said, look, France, always good for some rain, and it strikes again right here. The drivers are still fighting. Brett squirming around left and right. Janel taking a really wide line to turn 12 there. And yeah, I think it's gonna get to full wet conditions rather soon. Not yet, apparently, but let's see. Maybe Cosberg. I don't know what he's gonna do, but if someone comes in for full wets, we know what Jeff has been talking about for these guys. For those who have played the game themselves, they obviously know Jeff. For everyone else, that's the engineer the drivers have.
Janel's gonna hit him. He has hit him. He's gone off at turn 1. Why go for it there? And he's now gone and cut it again. Again, you can get away with that, I guess. But yeah, that's the second time off there. He's got to be careful, does Janel. He doesn't actually end up spinning or having an accident, because in these conditions, the last thing you do is have an accident. And now, what is Lukey in the pits for? It must be his drive-through penalty, surely, and it is.
Yeah.
So that's sorted. But yeah, it has to be full wet soon if you're Carlsberg. That must be what he has seen, because you will take these inches to the end from here. He must have seen full wet on the screen and thought, okay, we'll do that then.
If that pans out, if that actually works out, that would be a stroke of genius from Carlsberg, not gonna lie. But everyone else didn't want to take that risk,
and
I think they're running better right now. And here goes Janel into C. They touch again, and he almost slides off.
One too many, and you're going to have a big accident. They're lucky to have no damage there. I only caught the end of that, but I mean, I got the gist of it. They should not be touching that badly in there and not be getting damaged. They are the two luckiest people out there right now. But they're losing lots of time. And this rain is, like I say, torrential. And I'm going to pit on this lap for full wets. We'll wait and find out. If anyone's going to do it, it'll be Carlsberg, I guess. He's lost a lot of time, by the way, in the pit stops. I don't know what sort of holding up was going on. I imagine it would have been quite a bit, but yeah.
I would assume that was Carlsberg going past him. Sorry, Sippy going past him. Carlsberg can't go past himself, but I think that would be Sippy going past him, and that may have held him up, or maybe Crimson as Crimson came into the pits, and the Toro Rosso obviously has his pit box behind the Renaults, so maybe that was that. But certainly someone came in and held him up.
Right then, so we know Janel will go for a move. We've seen that plenty enough already on these last few laps. Issue is now he's got Dainstar closing right in. If he does one more of these dive bombs, he's going to find a Red Bull all over the back of him. The race winner last time out, still very much fancying his chances, I'd imagine, watching what happened over the last 2 laps. As he goes for it again, or just tries to fake out Brett. Could work in the braking zone. That he's going for the exit again. Will Janel really risk this one more time? It certainly looks like he's going to have it a go. He's on to hot lap. Brett, is he going to try and get into defend? Maybe defend himself into an accident? There's many things you'll do offline which will cause accidents, but no one's falling for anyone's traps right now. But this is so tense to watch with the way this rain is. As Janel's going to hit him again. Not quite, but he's really right on the edge. Brett under immense pressure right now. He's doing very well to keep his cool right now. I imagine he must be at least a little bit perplexed, or maybe even angry, I guess, at Janel for the way he's been defending and attacking so far in his race. As he thinks about it again, Janel, is he set up for the final corner now? Not quite, but certainly Dainstar is on the scene. So it's a matter of time before we see another one of these dive bombs, and it could well be turn 1. I was saying that, he's got a nice run. He might be ahead before the corner. This is the problem though, if he's not fully ahead, this will be contact.
He's not.
And they do make contact
again.
I'll just watch on board from Dainstar. Let's just see what he's going to see, because he's going to see these two really all over the road. As you see Janel having another big slide there. He's all over the road, as I say, trying to find some space to get through. Dainstar is just going to be egging him on. Just imagine his fists outside the steering wheel go, go on, do something, hit each other again. He'll probably have his popcorn and all sorts. Bit soggy, that popcorn, I must say, but he'll certainly be loving this.
Just for a quick second, that's what I like to do in some races. I just had a little, back in the day when I was racing, I had a little pack of chips right next to my wheel. I had it open before the race, and then just every now and then I'm like, okay, here we go, one more.
Well,
yeah, so you can do that. You can't do that in a real car. You can certainly do that here.
He's decided to back off on it this time. He's a learning. But, Brett, big slide. Carlsby's got by into Seeing corner. They're side by side on the exit. They're making big contact there for the speeds they're going at. And we're side by side again for the lead too, as Brettster goes off the track. And Janel on the outside. Is he going to get this one done? We see he's been quite slidey. Now it's Brett making the contact. Look at that. He's forced him off the track. And they're dragging on each other's front wheels. And this is ridiculous. I can't believe they're still on the track.
This is Senna
Here he goes
versus
again.
Prost levels of fighting.
My goodness. I think Brett might have lost his head.
Banging.
They're losing their heads right now because they know what the weather's doing. They know this could be wet at any point. They want to be the guy in the head. And they somehow got no damage right now. And they're still side by side at turn 1. They nearly spun off on the last lap. And if they keep racing like this, they will be spinning off on this lap. And there's more contact still as Danestar just sits in the background and watches. I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. They're still side by side. They're still trying to kill each other. And I'm loving every second as Janel makes contact, gets a penalty. Oh my goodness.
He may get that penalty removed because he obviously was trying to avoid Brett there, he didn't go too deep, but he went a little bit deep considering he had another car outside, so maybe Janel can get this removed later on.
Oh, is he going to go for this? Is he losing his head too? He's just going to back it off. Please guys, have a bit of common sense right now.
Look,
they've got no damage right now, and I have absolutely no idea how. Have they forgot to turn it on?
No.
Look at this again, side by side. They're going to try it towards Seeing corner. They are going to try it. Here we go, Janel on the outside, and he's going to spin through the corner. Surely he's drifting the whole way around. There's contact with Brett again. He's going to launch it back up the inside. Janel's going to go wide, and Danestar, is he just going to sit and watch this? Because look at the way these two are racing. I'm surprised he hasn't given this a proper go yet. As Brett, well, again, survives with no damage. Janel in the lead. Carlsby's caught 3 seconds in 1 lap. Does that tell you all you need to know yet?
Yeah. Absolutely amazing to watch. I think what Brett, the way Brett defended and attacked Janel at the same time, I think was a little bit of a revenge kind of action for the way Janel attacked and defended earlier on in this rain and in this race. So these two, I think they told each other now through their driving how unappreciating they are of each other's driving style.
Can I just point out, by the way, the rain has got a lot lighter, and that's bad news if your name's Carlsbury and you're hoping for it to go full wet soon, because he still has to make one more pit stop. And, well, this isn't working out for him right now, is it? Unfortunately for him, because he's caught right up on this as Brett makes a big mistake. This is time for Dane to give it a go now, as Brett is just sliding all over the show. You can see it. He's wiggling the whole way around turn 5 and 6 and down towards the chicane. Danestar is just going to sit back and wait. Brett now outside of a 1 second gap, so there's no real sort of substitute or anything. I think Janel might well be clear, home and a bit wet, a bit scared probably. But here comes Danestar. He's about to give Brett some more trouble. Here he goes on the inside of Seeing. He got maybe a bit closer than he thought he would on the run up as Brett moved over to defend. But Danestar, still looking on the inside, decides to just sit back. He knows how Brett drives based on the last 5 or 6 laps. No need to have an accident, right? Just no need to have an accident.
It needs to be mentioned in case you've missed it that Janel did in fact get a 3-second time penalty, meaning Brett and Dane are effectively fighting for the lead here and for the win. That
is a good point, yeah, actually. Although it's saying that Janel is gaining plenty of time on his own, of course, not having to worry about a 3-car scrap behind him, which will become 2 soon, unless Carlsby genuinely has just forgotten about the 1 pit stop rule, or the 2 pit stop rule, which would be a real shame, actually, because he's driven quite well today. But he has to pit again.
Yeah, and by the way, it needs to be said that the mandatory 2 pit stop rule does not just vanish because it's raining. Even in the rain, the mandatory two pit stop rule is still in place, and you have to do 2 pit stops.
Maybe he's hoping for it to dry up, although it doesn't look like that's going to happen either. I really hoping he just hasn't forgot. Although any plans he may or may not have appear to be going out the window. If only he just pitted under that safety car, you know? But, oh well. It's his loss, I guess. Unless it suddenly dries up as quickly as it got wet, because it is getting... Well, the rain it's spitting now, and there's a dry-ish line starting to get there. You can see where the darker part of the track is. I mean, it'd be a pretty long shot to say, really, wouldn't it? Because look at the amount of spray we've still got, but... Yeah, Carsby's going to need it to stop. And now.
If you consider how quickly it started to rain...
Well, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a dry ending to this race.
Yeah, but it has stopped raining now, so Carsby's getting his wish as it stands. He just needs it to dry now. And he'll just do that 1 lap on the softs or whatever he needs to fulfill this 2-stop. Because... the spray, though, that's the thing, the spray. We're going to be keeping an eye on that. Although, again, there's a drying line. There is a drying line. This is not over yet, people. And we certainly know that Carsby will have to pit again. So he's going to have to do something special. What's going to happen next today?
Well, I should mention that if it does dry up, I would argue the DRS would have to be enabled, meaning the dry tires become the better tire compared to the intermediates. I would say by the end of lap 25, but when you go through turn 14, or 13 rather, on lap 25, if it happens past that, I mean, what are you going to do? You can't come in at the end of lap 26 unless you're Carsberry, and you have to. But any other situation, you're not going to. Everyone else is going to stay out on these inters and just try to finish the race on the inters. So, really, lap 25 is the last hope for Carsberry that the DRS actually gets enabled.
He's going to hope for a reverse Belgium 2008, pretty much. That's what we're sort of looking at this stage for him. And he might not be the only one, of course, who might decide to pit, as Danestar gets a good run on Brett. And, well, he has got to get a move on now, just in case Jano, they've hit each other. That was a late move up the hill. They've got to be careful, again, that they don't have an accident. I know I've said this every lap for the past 6 or 7, but none of these guys have got damage, and they've been bumping and barging all day. As here we go again, as Danestar sits on the inside, and Brett, well, he goes into the wetter part of the track, maybe a bit less grip as Carsby goes off into Narnia, and he got a bit late on the brakes himself. These guys feel like they're getting a bit more slippy slidey out there, which would you suggest tires become a little bit less suited to the track, maybe starting to overheat a bit. Which is a good sign, if your name is Carsby, by the way. If they're overheating, it means we're getting close, we're getting close, we're getting close. The tyres don't like it anymore, as Brett has a bad run out of the last corner. Dane absolutely has to pass. He's outside the 3-second threshold he needs to win this race. And on the outside of turn 1 is his best chance, I guess, at the moment, as he tries it. They stay side by side. They're surely going to hit again, and they're going to slide again. And... well, Carsby now has got a chance. Carsby's got a very good chance, and that's very late driving, very late braking, and possibly a twice movement.
Oh, and Carsby spins around, and is he going to lose the position to Sippy? No, he is not, but he certainly lost a lot of time there. And that is, oh my god, 2.5 seconds lost there for the Renault driver. It's
debatable that Danestar might have moved twice there. I'm sure he might be suggesting that, Carsby. Will this be what spurs him on to pit? Let's have a look at that spray. Well, you've got to say it's considerably less than it was 2 laps ago. I mean, you can see the track for yourself. As TB, is that, or is it Ivan? Ivan has gone off.
Ivan, yeah.
That's good news if your name's Carsby as well. It means if you do pit and you're the only one to pit, then you might lose a little bit less time with people starting to make mistakes around you. But does he risk a pit stop on this lap? Or as you say, next lap? It does feel like it'll be okay next lap. Cause look at it. It really is starting to work well. And we saw half a lap is all it took for the track to become okay on dries to impossible. It could be the same way around for inters, so you've got to time this properly if you're going to time it at all.
Yeah, I think they're going to be frantically spamming Jeff right now, their engineer, for information about this weather right now. And let's see if Carsberry actually does go in. No, he does not. Stays that one more, as I suspected. I think the real this is a absolute brain buster are they going to come in at the end of this lap if the DRS is enabled? Because
Yes.
I'm 50... I mean, Carsberry, surely, but everyone else... And I would be 50-50 on that.
Oh,
I think...
look at that Dainstar and Brett. That was a massive slide. A little bit of a tap there. And, well, the gap's now 4.5 seconds. Dainstar has to pass now if he wants to win. Here he goes. There's massive contact. And, well, I say massive contact. For them, that's probably a little baby touch. But surely Dainstar's through now. He's going to shove his way past. And he has got to absolutely put his foot down. And hope that Brett doesn't come back in retaliation, of course. He's still got plenty of ERS to go for it, they both do. As they go onto the western part of the track, might make it a bit more difficult to slow down. They're ghosted a bit now through lag, which will help that too. But Brett on the inside, how many times have I said that's a bad place to be? As he spins off, and yeah, that tells you all you need to know about that line. I've said it all day. And Brett, finally, well, it's gone wrong for one of them. It was going to happen eventually, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know what Brett was trying to do there. He was way too late on the brakes, sends it down the inside, and the inevitable happens, and it's Brett who gets sent around.
Well, well, well. Carlsbury. Oh dear. The track doesn't look much different to last lap. In the third sector, that's the thing, the third sector appears to still be pretty bad. The rest of it was alright, but the bad bit is still the last sector. And Carlsbury's not pitting.
Nope. Lap 26, I think.
If he doesn't pit on lap 26, he'll be disqualified, as far as I'm aware, and he'll get quite a hefty amount of points as well on his license. This isn't just going to ruin this race for him, I don't think. The stewards probably will not take kindly at all to this right now. I'll try and say it even on the guidelines, actually.
To be fair, considering that the Precision Tier was #1 in incidents reported last season, I think we found back to old form here.
Yes.
I think the stewards are going to have their hands full with this race from the Precision Tier here. Wow.
Right.
But yeah, let's see what Carsberry does. He's going to have 2 more sectors to come, 1.5 really, before he actually does have to pit on this lap. If he doesn't, it's a DQ.
I've just got to say this now, there's no actual guidelines on how many points you'd get for a disqualification on the website, but let me just take you through what they've got. 2 points for a qualifying ban, 0.5 for a 5 second, 1 for a 10 second, 15 seconds is 1.5, 20 seconds is 2 points, a race ban is 3 points. He's going to have to get somewhere between 2 and 3 points on his license.
I would say 3 points. A disqualification is pretty much the same as a retrospective race ban.
I would agree with that.
You get banned for the previous race, so that would be 3 points, and you're only allowed 8 over the season. And beyond that, or if you get 8, you're allowed 7.5. If you get 8, you're disqualified.
Let's see. Does he remember the rule or not? Oh dear,
no.
He doesn't remember the
That
rule.
is a disqualification for Carsberry as he goes through the final corner. Unbelievable.
Ooh, that's annoying for him. That's annoying for me actually as well, watching. It's annoying that people miss out on the simple things, really. That's one of the fundamentals. And, well, Carsberry can do nothing now. His race is over. That will promote Sippy to an incredible podium. And I said this earlier to you, actually, Austin. He started, I think, P10. And, well, he's on to score a podium for the first time, I believe. I might be wrong. Let me check your wee stats. Let me check.
First time podium, yeah.
So, yeah, I'll just quickly confirm that. Yeah, it'll be his first time on the podium. And, well, I know we're a lap early, but I'm going to certainly... You've got to put him out. I mentioned him earlier. I've got to put him up for straight up driver today. Straight up for him.
Well, Sippy does have a penalty. Sippy, in fact, does have 2 penalties, 6 seconds.
Okay, right, okay. Well, Brett might get in trouble. He will get in trouble, let's say that much.
You spoke too soon.
Crimson's got loads of penalties, so maybe he'll get 4 retrospectively on the line, but he might lose it still. I'd still give him driver today still, just for the fact he's come from P10, he's kept it clean. As Carsberry, I think, has had a mistake.
TB has spun around. He's down to 16th now in Sector 2. He's still recovering.
Right, okay, here we go then. Journal as well, I guess you could maybe put Journal and Brett up just for their battle alone. But into the final corner he comes. I think he'll be okay. He's got 7-second gap. He'll have a 3-second penalty added on. But Jano, he said he wanted to win. He said he would win, and he has done just that. Jano wins in round 2 here at Paul Ricard. Good job from him. Only his 2nd win in the league. Danestar comes home P2 for 2nd place. Carlsbury is disqualified. Ignore him. Sippy will be 4th, I guess, at the moment. We'll wait for penalties. Brett will be on the podium then. Cam will be 5th. Crimson will probably fall down further actually than that. He had loads of penalties, but we'll wait and see. Let's see if Ivan does beat him. He doesn't. Crimson will be 6th. Ivan 7th. Harry 8th. Luke 9th, and Cons will be 10th. Who's got that fastest lap? Sippy's got the fastest lap as well in the top 10. Good for him. We'll just decide who outside the top 10 for a start. Right, Cons will get to top 10. So outside the top 10, its fastest lap is Cam goes P11. Its fastest lap, I believe, is Scorpion. So yeah, that's how that works.
I'm gonna try to write everything down. Just give me a second here.
Right, so Cam 11th, then Scorpion 12th, Cloudy 13th. We'll get the other guys in just a second. But that
you have to remember, you have to take away one, or you have to give them all one position because of Carlsbury's disqualification.
That's what I've been doing. Yeah, so I've got to try and figure that out as well, because that would put Cam in a points, wouldn't
That's
it?
why I'm writing it down. I'm gonna try to get this in just a second. I don't have. Right now I don't have TB, Lukey, and King J.
Right,
Everyone else is written down. So we do have Janu winning the race as he promised.
Yep.
As he told us. We have Danestar in P2, which will put his point total to 43, and he will remain in the championship lead. We have Brett's in P3, finally redemption for his awful season debut in Bahrain. And there we go. Okay, so we have 1 second. Lukey is then 13th. I'm gonna have to. Jeez, this is
right. Let me quickly go
stressful
through this.
Right now. There we go. I got everything.
We've got a timer on now, so I'll quickly go through this. So Janos won the race.
Yeah.
From Danestar, Brett, Sippy, Cam, Crimson, Ivan, Harry, Konzo, and Cam. Your top 10. Fastest lap goes to Sippy. Outside the top 10, you're gonna have Scorpion, Cloudy, Lukey, Jorit, and TB. Fastest lap there, I believe, is Scorpion. And the retirements and disqualifications, Sam, Vitinho, and assuming Cosby will get disqualified. That'll be both Renaults not finishing. Well, legally.
Can a DNF driver get fastest lap outside top 10?
I don't think so.
Then it would be Scorpion, because otherwise it would be Sam, who has an even better lap time. But yeah, it would be Scorpion then.
I don't think you can do that now.
Wow, that was a race and a half.
Yeah,
I gotta say, you know what I was thinking during the race. There is the One Hub Racing Mental Health Foundation charity race coming up in a couple of weeks.
I'm racing
where the commentators are choosing the weather, and I think we have just gotten a great blueprint.
Well, yeah. Well, you know what? The best thing about today was actually I didn't ask for anyone to give me the weather. I don't know if anyone put it in the chat or not. And maybe the chat knew we didn't. But the fact is, we went in there random, and as you say, with that race, I'm going to have to race with the same knowledge that we had today, with i.e. no knowledge, and so that created such an interesting scenario, because we just didn't know what was going to happen there, and so that made it very fun. And that is a race, certainly, you've got to support, by the way, that race for mental health. 15th of May, I believe, the week off, the full-time racing, so it'll still be a Friday. I think it'll still be at a normal time. There'll probably be links to the donation page on OneHub's Twitter, at OneHub Racing. And yeah, certainly help us out with that if you can. All for a good cause. Mental Health Foundation, we've been with them for a while. They're great people, they do a good job. And yeah, certainly in these times as well, these extraordinary times, would be very much appreciated.
Yeah, and you were very right about the May 15th date. That's exactly when it's going to happen.
Yes! I got it right!
Hey! But, my goodness, what a race it was. So we had a disqualification. Or we will get a disqualification. Driver of the day. Who did you pull up? Who did you put up?
I put up Sippy.
Sippy, okay. Well, let me quickly hold on. I need to sort this by. There we go. I mean, we could just ignore Janel, but he's been, because that's what we've done last season for the most part. We just ignored White Fountain, but he just pole position, win everything. We just didn't even put him up there. But no, Janel, he said he wanted to qualify top 3. He qualified on pole, wins the race, even though he had a 3-second time penalty. Had an amazing fight with Brett. Just overall, Janel absolutely dominating, and you got to put him up there. So Sippy and Janel are your choices. Do you like the guy dominating, or do you like end P4, finishing in P3 effectively? But
well,
you know,
let's be clear. It's not
on
a
penalties. On penalties, he
not
lost the podium spot to Brett.
It's not a domination fight. It is just a pure dog fight. If you maybe came in late, didn't see everything that was happening, you've got to watch it. That's the best racing I've seen come out of the league, because at the end of the day, I know they were bumping and banging and messing about, but they actually didn't crash. They were touching a lot, but they actually kept it just about enough on the edge. Maybe Brett won't be as happy, but it was a fight for the ages. Certainly the best race I've ever commentated for in this league, and I can say that with absolute certainty.
Yeah, I've rarely ever seen a race as amazing as this one. And by the way, I just got confirmation that if you retire, you're not eligible for the fastest lap outside the top 10. So that point will go to Scorpion, unless there's some penalties and it pushes him inside the top 10, because he finished P11.
Yeah.
Meaning if just one driver ahead of him gets some kind of penalty, well, that's him into the top 10, which I think means he wouldn't get that point, but he would still get a point for his position then.
Yeah.
But that's something for the stewards to figure out who gets what point. And we're going to keep you up to date next week for the Chinese Grand Prix. The one of the few, really one of the many that were supposed to happen in real F1 this year but didn't. I'm really excited. I like that track, but I'm probably one of the few.
I like the track as well. So you're not alone on that.
Okay.
And just one more thing. Happy 1 season anniversary, man. Yeah, I bet you didn't remember that.
I really didn't.
Yeah, I knew you weren't going to remember that. That's why I had to bring it up. You're unbelievable.
The moment you said that, just about 10 seconds ago, you should have seen my face. I just... Wait, what?
What?
Are you you mean me, personally? What is going on?
Well, I think we did our first commentary last season in... France. So yeah, I know you started at Monaco, but I wasn't there. So sorry, I remember these things. Oh, I've been disconnected. I've been kicked.
Yeah, same.
Nice game. But anyway, yeah. Sorry, I just had to put that out there because I'm pretty sure you've forgotten. It's very offensive. Anyway, I think that'll do us now. That has been the race here for season 15, round 2 of the 1 Hub Precision tier. Huge thank you to everyone for watching. Massive thank you, of course, again to Next Level Racing for supporting us and sponsoring us with the gaming rigs for our champions. And well, after a race like today, anyone could be in for that. It was a classic. If you missed it, you're gonna have to rewind and watch it all over again. But yeah, from me and Austin, thank you very much for watching, and safe travels, everybody.